Good evening, everybody. What I'll attempt to do in the next 10 minutes is basically touch the theme. And in the theme, I want to address two critical segments. That's basically assessments. What I want to do is run through the assessment life cycle of a candidate, and then look at the quality aspects. Quality as it's a statement you always make. Quality is an ongoing journey, etc. So just giving different views in terms of quality, in terms of how we can improve on them. Not that we've done nothing till date. We've done a lot of things till date. Institutes and various bodies have looked at this aspect very critically, and using technology as underlying layer. How can technology enable this entire journey? So what does a student go through in a typical life cycle? At the moment, a student before enters the university has multiple assessments. Okay, a student finishes his board exams, enters into the university, and at that moment there's an entrance examination which has been administered to him. He enters into the university, and then they say that education is a continuum. You can't just assess based on the last end-term examination. So you have various internal examinations which are administered to the candidate. Post that, you have the end-term examination, which is basically a semester examination or an annual examination. End of it all, the student moves out of the university, ready to face the world. The company who's trying to take him in says, hold on, before I welcome you on board, you need to do one more test before I take you in. So in the life cycle of a candidate, there are various assessments which a candidate goes through. So I'm giving a completely different perspective of assessments from the particular topic. My eminent jurists and panelists have covered upon assessment from a university perspective, but I just thought let me take it from a candidate perspective, and try to address certain themes. And try to look at quality aspects of how this might impact the university too. So let me take entrance examinations first of all. There are multiple factors. I mean, each of these particular topics can be covered in sessions itself. So what I'll do is, since the time is very short, I'll try to just give you a quick flavor of what are the typical factors which come into play when you conduct entrance examinations. Why do universities conduct entrance examination itself? Because they feel that it's the right candidate who should come into the university, and they feel that if the university has like 100 seats only, they want the best 100 candidates to leave the university. So the factors which come into play basically are, is it the right candidate actually to the examination? A lot of boards at universities have multiple ways in which it's addressed. It's evolved a lot. Attendance sheets, color attendance sheets, signatures, taking stamp pad imprints of the students, fingerprints, etc. Getting forensics experts to look at it. I've been talking to multiple universities and bodies, and I've been understanding how they find out who's the right candidate who's actually writing the examination. So I've been understanding that this is how they do it. Quality of questions, the quality of questions is extremely important from the university perspective. They want the best 100 students to join them. So I'm sure they're going to give a lot of weightage to the quality of questions which they have. So the question basically is that has the questions been reviewed multiple times? Item writing, that means has the question solicited the right response from the candidate? Another aspect, equating of the items. I mean, more and more we're going to see online examinations in entrance. Set into play by multiple people. Maybe we might know entrance examination for the wrong reasons, but it's absolutely not for the wrong reasons. There have been a lot of other institutes that have been going online for the right reasons. So when you have online examination as the way to go, you're going to have equating of the forms, equating of the items, which are very critical in this entire game. So, how do we go about doing that? Can technology enable that? And finally, we're forgetting of the candidate. Does the candidate have a good experience taking an examination? The candidate in the AC room, candidate has got the right experience, to administer the examination. So that's the aspect of the entrance examination, a few factors which we could consider. In the internal examination, basically what I want to look at is basically, this is something which keeps happening, and internal examination, are we looking at it as a formative assessment? I mean, we correct, give them a score, are we giving them a right feedback? In terms of, where should he improve on so that he takes his end-term examination better? Are there technology tools which can enable that? That's an aspect which you can look at it. And finally, the annual examination, the semester examination. And here, what we see normally is how our annual examination is done in the universities in India. you have descriptive type papers, and when you have descriptive type papers, you have multiple quality issues which can creep in. For example, you can have quality of evaluation itself. Is the evaluation, is my paper and my friend's paper, I mean, if I've written well, and if it goes to wrong evaluator, wrong mood, how do you know I would have got a lower score? I mean, I could have got a lower score. And these are all doubts which are there in any university system at the moment. Totaling of scores. I understand, talking to various boards, a lot of time spent in terms of totaling. They have a retotaling team which comes into play. And then finally, effective utilization of evaluators. You have a senior evaluator, you have a junior evaluator, both evaluating the same set of papers. You have a senior evaluator who should be evaluating maybe only the 10-mark questions, and junior evaluator may be looking at the lower mark questions. You pay higher to the senior evaluator. There are multiple ways. Do you have technology solutions to address that? So what we have done is basically, as an organization, Meritrack is in the assessment business, and I work closely with various universities, various bodies, etc., and trying to leverage various places in which technology can come and enable various universities. So the solution which I've spoken about has been utilized by multiple people. There are various international solutions which are bringing it across India. So I just thought, let me just leave you with a few snippets, a few thoughts. Each of the solutions can be detailed out can be discussed in detail. So what I intend to do is just give you a quick snippet of each of the solutions. So what we're doing is, in the entrance examination, I remember I gave this discussion point about, do you know it's the right candidate who actually wrote the examination? So there are multiple technologies coming into play right now. There are things like fingerprinting of the candidate at the examination venue, taking a photograph when the candidate is taking the examination, rechecking them out during the counseling process. You're 100% sure it's the right candidate ticket. It can't be me and my twin brother who's taken the examination and I walk into the entire thing. These are all instances which have happened, and a lot of people shy away from saying that, listen, it doesn't happen. But these are all mechanisms where technology can come and play to tighten the entire process. Another way of doing examinations, online examinations. Very, very effective way of conducting entrance examinations online. What happens is, typically the controller of examination has all the papers with him till what? 45 minutes before the examination starts. The examination papers just don't move out. In the conventional process, examination papers go to the printing press. From the printing press, it has to be dispatched to the centers. From the centers, it has to be stored properly. You have multiple sealing, the seal opening procedures, seal closing procedures. You have multiple procedures. And there's always a fear in the control of examiner's mind. How will my paper leak? Because the impact of a paper leak is very high. The reputation, people will not remember you for doing examination well. People will remember you for not doing examination well. Every university, look at if that examination's got, if the university's had one paper leak instance, people remember you for that particular instance. So online examinations can cover a lot of aspects. This itself is a discussion by itself. So and you don't have to depend on the internet a lot. There are multiple technologies which come in. Basically, you have servers which are hosted at the test center. You have a controller of examination who's looking at the particular questions. 45 minutes, he uploads it into a centralized server. It gets downloaded from a centralized server into your test center, encrypted form. Passwords are given 5 minutes before the examination. The control of examination sees what is happening in each center. Where we do an examination for a university, where we test something like 70,000 candidates online, the control of examination sits in a far-off place near Karnataka, and he gets to see what's happening in the center in Delhi. I mean, we've got IP cameras, MPLS connectivity, we've got grabs of the particular classroom, what's happening in the particular center, and there are technologies to do it. And we've been doing this particular assessments for the last 5-6 years. So there are multiple technology plays in this entire game. Question bank management system. I did mention to you all in the entrance examination about item writing. I did tell you about the quality of questions. Quality of questions. It has to be evaluated, re-evaluated. Comments are to be noted. But content bank of a university is something which is so sacrosanct for the university. Content bank is something which people don't know the value of the IP of that content bank. So typically, what happens is this lies as the resource of a particular of one or two individuals. In a university. But if you look at the questions across the university, this belongs to the university. So in terms of how many times let's get statistics in terms of how many times the question has been administered, the last 5 years. How many times would you want to administer this question? So you set up certain rules. You want to set up certain review rules. And it is possible with the use of technology. There are question bank management solutions which we use, and question bank management solutions are available in the world which can enable this entire technology medium. This particular slide, there are multiple slides, but what I want to leave you with the thought here saying that formative assessments, typically we have certain solutions which we're seeing, like after a lecture is over, the candidate moves out. Most of the students have a mobile phone. Mobile examination, a small test. For example, I finished a session on compressors. The guy walks out and he sees a question on pistons, sees a question on crankshaft, and he says, okay, I know this, I don't know this, fine, he responds. He comes back and checks out what's the response. So effectively, after I teach a particular topic, the candidate walks out, candidate can be anywhere. He doesn't have to copy. What happens? You're enabling the student to basically learn better. You're giving him a feedback. When the student gets a feedback, individual feedback is given, and he doesn't have to access the, the net. His mobiles are available. If he wants to access the net, he can still access the net. So there are multiple technology levers we can pull to get into a formative assessment. And last slide, which I thought I'll share with you, is basically in the Indian education system. The university's semester end-term examination. It's all answer script based. Basically, you have descriptive papers. You have a 30-bunch booklet, 40-bunch booklet given to each student. The student writes it all. The papers then come into either a centralized evaluation center. It comes to a decentralized evaluation center. There are multiple models of working these evaluation centers. Then the evaluators sit and evaluate it. Okay, the evaluators sit and evaluate it. Some universities taking the next measure of saying, I want a double evaluation. So it goes for a double marking. Then they take the average of scores. There are multiple ways of some universities are of multiple procedures. Now, for every time the papers are actually moving around, I know of situations where the papers have got destroyed, the papers have got burnt, and these particular situations, if you have just scanned it and it's available digitally, we set up rubrics, we set up a mechanism in place where for each particular mark, for each particular, there's a system where you take the entire mark schematic. So example, question number 1 should not be given more than 5 marks. There have been instances where professors give accidentally. These are all accident errors. 5 marks become a 6 mark or 7 mark because this is something which is happening, very, very quickly. These sort of systems help you prevent it. These sort of systems help you do double marking. These sort of systems help you give comments to a particular question. The student can view this particular comment. The student may not view the particular comment. But systems like this are available. We are piloting. These are systems which are available in the University of Cambridge. University of Cambridge assesses something close to 30 million answer scripts every semester. We are bringing this technology across to India. We have been piloting this out to various universities. And all I want to say is such technology solutions are available in India, and I'm free to discuss this in detail. Thank you so much.